this is the start of objective 2. You need to know rate of change is the same as slope. We have a formula for that. That's on the formula chart. We're on the, this is like the third page, I think, or the second page, not front and back. Okay, all right. So change of y over change of x. Okay, they're just examples that they give here. But if you find the slope from a given graph, you need 2 points so you can use your formula. So if you're not going to count rise over run, let me get my pen correct. My points that I can use, like this point is 1, 1, and then this point is 3, 3. Wait, 1, 2, 3. No, 4, 3. Sorry. Where's your packet? Talk about that later. Okay, so I just gave you the calculator tricks. You could use the list to find your slope if you put your points in a list and then do second calculate linear regression. These are the types of slopes. I needed to highlight this. Make sure you know each type, what a positive looks like. It's increasing from left to right. Negative decreases. Zero slope is a horizontal line. So just remember, for a zero slope, it's a horizontal. Okay, and because it's horizontal, your equation is going to be x equals, y equals a number. I don't know if y'all remember, but when we did these special cases for zero and undefined, we did OI, and then we did VUX. Okay. V is for vertical line. So for a vertical line, it's going to have an undefined slope. U for undefined, which means that it's going to be x equal a number. So you need to recognize the different types to help you problem solve. Like if you see an increasing line, we shouldn't be picking negative answers. It needs to be a positive answer. All right, so there's your types. So what I just need to make sure, because this section wants to make sure you can graph and write equations and inequalities. Oh, also you need to know perpendicular slopes and parallel slopes. Perpendicular slopes. What's so special? I mean parallel. Let's start with parallel. What's so special about parallel slopes?
Yeah, the same slope.
Yeah, same slope. So add that to your notes. Same slope. Okay. Perpendicular slope. Yeah, opposite reciprocal. And another way you can think of that, let me just extend the page here. That means you're going to flip the number and change the sign. So make sure we're using that fact for perpendicular. All right, do we have this page so we can finish the examples? Okay. All right, so what we're going to look into for this objective 2, you're going to need to, know the different linear equation forms. Basically, you have to be able to solve for y. So this one is just an example done for you. I would make sure we can apply those steps, memorize what to do, add a positive or negative x, basically the opposite sign of x, cancel the zero pair, and carefully write them down, divide by the number in front of y, and rewrite. You want to rewrite so it's y equals mx plus b. So we're just going to practice this skill because this is very important on this objective. So they're going to ask you to graph, and sometimes they're going to ask you to write the equation. So is this line extra? I think it is. Hold on. Yeah, it is. Let me take that off. Sorry. Okay, so on this example here, to get the slope of y-intercept, we have to put it in y equals form. So what do we have to do first? Yeah, minus 2x. Good. So write your minus 2x, Now the x cancels, and you have to rewrite everything. Carefully write everything down. So this would be 3y equals, yeah, negative 2x minus 6. And then what would be our next step? Divide everything by 3. Good. Okay, now that we have it in this form, so we get y equals negative 2/3 x minus 2. This is our equation. What would be the slope? Yeah, I always circle the number in front of x. So my slope is the negative 2/3. And the y-intercept. Yeah, this is the b, so negative 2. So this, I need these parts because this helps me graph it. When we graph, we start with the y-intercept, so we need a point on the y-axis at a negative 2. Are y'all doing this one with me? Yeah, just leave it right there. All right. Okay, so from this point, how do we use the slope to move to the next point?
Down to the right.
Yeah, down 2 to the right 3, 1, 2, 3. Good. All right, so there. Or I could go up 2 to the left 3. And then we would use our straight edge to draw a line through that. I'm just going to kind of cheat a little bit and use the little line tool. All right, now, I made that a little bit too big. Now that we have the line, could we physically see the x-intercept?
Yes.
What is the value of the x-intercept? Negative 3. All right, write that down in that box. That we have a negative 3. Now, think of it also as an order pair. This would be the point negative 3, comma 0. If you have an x-intercept, you have an x value, no y value. All right, so what is the 0? Negative 3 is, remember, these two are the same. Remember, a 0 is an x-intercept. What's another word for 0? Root and solution, yes, okay? And they will exchange those words around in a problem. All right. So besides graphing just an equation, you have to be able to graph the inequalities. So what I just did was, these are examples of each type. Like if it's less than, it's showing right here, the symbol, the name of the symbol, the type of line, and how the shading happened. So here, I think I have the wrong one up, sorry. Here, because the symbol was less than, they shade it below. Okay. This one was less than and equal to, so they had a solid line and they shade it below. We have greater than, that means we're shading above. So they've kind of already described each type of line for you. Shade above. So just make sure you understand how to shade. Now that we go from equal to inequalities and the type of line. Also, I meant to put a little star here. Is to remember to symbol switch directions when multiplying or dividing by a negative number. Okay, you have to just memorize that fact. So then now we have one example to do together. Okay. So in order to graph this inequality, what would be our first step? Yeah, minus 3x. So just show the work here in this box. Minus 3x. The 3x terms cancel. What are we going to write? Yeah, negative 2y is greater than or equal to, greater than negative 3x plus 4. Okay, so now divide each term by negative 2. So remember what happens here. Yep, so y now becomes less than 3 over 2x minus 2. Okay, so this is our inequality. So based on this, we're going to start where to graph it. Negative 2, so put a point on the y-axis, negative 2. How do we move? Yep, up 3 to the right 2. There we go. What type of line is this going to be?
Positive.
It is positive slope. And then what type? It's going to be a dash line. So let me just fix that. It's going to be dash here. Okay. So you have a dash line. And we shade below. Because it's less than. So I'm just going to use my highlighter. This is shading below. Because we have this symbol less than. Okay. All right, so then they're going to ask questions from your graph. So the first question they ask is the point, I'm going to put that in red, sorry, 4, 0. Here's point 4, 0. Is it a solution?
Yes.
Yes, so we're going to circle yes there. Now they're asking, is the point 0, 0 a solution?
No.
No, it's not in the shaded. Okay. Now to solve algebraically, if they give you a point without a graph, understand your point is your x and your y. Okay. So what you could do is I can go back to the original equation, which was 3x minus 2y is greater than 4. We're going to substitute the 2 for the x, and we're going to substitute the 1 for the y. So that would be 3 parentheses 2 minus 2 parentheses 1. And we're going to check, is that greater than 4? Well, when I do my order of operations, this is 6 minus 2. What's 6 minus 2? 4. And is 4 greater than 4? No, that's just false. So this would be not a solution. I'm running out of room. Sorry about that. Okay. So but if you can do your graphing, then you don't have to plug in the point. It's just another way to do it algebraically. Okay. All right. So graphing linear equations and linear inequalities, and then systems. Okay. So we go from one line to now 2 or more lines. So understand your solution to a system. Right here it says intersection point on the graph. So on this first one, you see the graph of the 2 lines. I can find that actual intersection point. I'm going to do it in red, sorry. What is the solution of these 2 equations? The intersection point. Negative 3 comma 1. Yes. Okay. So you have to have an x and a y value here. All right. What about this one? Would this have a solution? No. This would be no solution. Because it is no solution because we have parallel lines. Anytime the lines are parallel, it's no solution. If the lines intersect, it's one solution. And then infinite solutions, they're trying to get you to see that, okay, this is the first, oops, sorry. The y equals negative x minus 1. That's that line right there. If I solve this second equation by saying minus x, I would get y equals negative x minus 1. So this means you have the same equation. And if you have the same equation, it's going to be the same line literally on top of each other. So anytime you have the same equation, it's going to be infinite solution. Or all real numbers, you could say. Okay. Now for inequalities, they did one for you already on this example. So they graphed this inequality here. They said the dashed line, okay, and they shade it below. So the red line here for me is my dashed line. They shade it underneath. Then they graphed the second one, and they said it was a solid line. So this is my blue line, and they shaded above. The solution set, and we tend to put a big capital S where they overlap. Okay, where the 2 shading overlap, that's your solution set. All right, so I just want us to do 2 examples real quick to make sure we understand. So on this first one, it's already in slope-intercept form. I'm gonna make this, I'm gonna make this my line, my red line. Where do we start to graph the first inequality? All right, put a point at 4.
Down 3 to the right.
Down 3, 1, 2, 3, to the left one, because we have to have a positive slope, so it has to increase. Okay, this line is going to be solid. Okay, how do we shade for this one? Because it's less than, we shade below. Okay. All right, I'm going to do a blue line for my next one. Oops. Okay. For the next inequality, where do we start? Negative 1. Yep, start on the y-intercept. And yeah, down 2. So 1, 2 to the right one. There it is. Or up 2 to the left one. And then this is going to be a dash line. Okay. How are we going to shade below. So below will be here, like such. Do you see where they overlap?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna put just a capital S to show the solution set. All right, so what they want us to do is check the point. Is a -1, 0 a solution? Yes. -1, +5, would that be a solution? No, because it's not in the overlapping. All right, now we can prove algebraically. To prove algebraically, we have to check both equations. Remember, this is going to represent your x and your y. So if I do equation 1, this would, or inequality 1 right here, this would be -3 is less than or equal to 3 times 0 plus 4. So when I simplify that, is a -3 less than or equal to a +4?
No. Yes.
Yep, that one is yes. Okay, but now I gotta check it for the second equation as well. So I'm gonna have -3 is less than -2 times 0 minus 1. Well, this becomes -3 is less than -1. Is a -3 less than -1?
No.
Yes. So this is a solution. Since it's true for both. Okay, so this would be yes. Okay. All right, so on example 2, no solution, they've done the graphing for us. So like this is right here, the solid line, but it's greater than. Where will we shade here? Above it, there it is. For the solid line, there's my shading. And then for the next inequality, that would be below. Okay, do you see how they don't overlap? Okay, so that says no solution. Okay. Because there's no overlapping, I'm just gonna write no solution. No overlapping means no solution. All right, so that is objective 2 now. A review objective 2. So on quizzes, you either finishing practice 3. I've already sent out the next practice. Like if you're ready to move ahead, does everyone still have their calendar from yesterday? I'll show it if you need it. Okay, so if you're ready to move ahead, you can move ahead. You can either do your quizzes or your Quizlet. Okay, so I had some students. Let me just make this announcement real quick, because your teachers, I let them know that y'all have some things you can review, and if you have extra time, you can do it in their classes. If you're doing the flashcards, like the Quizlet, where you're doing a test or a matching, one of the ones, you can have the teacher sign off on your paper to verify that you were studying during that time. Okay, so I know I had on their parent or guardian, but if you're doing it in class and a teacher's there, they can just show it to them and they can sign you off. All right. So you now have time to practice. Yes.
Of course.